Hey there, and welcome to the UkeStuff channel, and welcome to this outside edition of a UkeGuide review. This time of the Kala Concert Waterman. This is one of my school's ukuleles, and I brought it home to review it. We bought this one a couple of years ago when they first came out. Bought this one from Uke Republic, and I honestly don't know if Uke Republic set them up or not. So right now here out in Wisconsin, it's over 90 degrees. It's June of 2021, and this is a rugged ukulele. It's meant to be taken to the beach or other places. So why not come outside with it too? Although I will say it's already reacting very much to the heat and sun. Probably not the world's most resilient to heat ukulele. So what we're going to do in this review, first of all, is we're going to look at some subjective issues. Then we're going to talk about the specifications. Then I will summarize the instrument and also give it a UkeGuide rating. All right, now let's begin with the subjective issues. The price of this, first of all, it is currently selling for $54.99, and I think that price is the same that it has always been. So while that was a great price a couple of years ago, there are a number of other products on the market right now, including, for example, the Enya Nova, which does cost more, but is a polycarbonate mix and lighter and sounds better. So that $54.99 is really setting the price. So as we talk about value, you're really getting what you pay for, really. Kala sets the price these days. Now, what do you get with the ukulele? Well, you do not get the colored string. Those we put on with the school. Those are Aquila Kid strings. But you do get a light drawstring bag, which really doesn't protect it, just gives you a way to carry it around. That means you don't have to grab it by the neck. So again, $54.99 is probably at the price. It might be slightly overpriced for what you're getting, considering what else is out today, but that's kind of where we're at. Now, in terms of build quality, well, it's a plastic ukulele. It's built perfectly. It has nice smooth edges, no complaints there, and the setup is actually quite good. We'll get to setup and playability, so overall, build quality is just about perfect. It is interesting to see the inside of an ukulele, but really there's not much to see in there, so I'm going to cut to the video of the inside of the ukulele. All right, let's take a look at the inside of the Kala Waterman Concert. So here we go. Okay, looking in the back, you don't see a whole lot there. If we look up, you can see a little bit of how the ukulele is put together. The bridge is screwed in from the underside. That's a good thing to note. In case you ever have to repair one of these, that'd be very, very tricky to do, to replace a bridge. And we'll turn a little bit on the side and let you see if we can see the edges here. There's one of the bottom supports. It's just a seamed edge along with that molded body. And that's pretty much all there is to see on the inside of this ukulele. Now let's take a look at the upper bout. All right, here's the upper bout of the ukulele. You can see where the neck is inserted to make sure that it's the right length. And then you can see how the top connects to the body and the different points for glue as well. And there's your sort of neck support block too, that's also part of the ukulele. All right, and that's our very quick look at the Waterman Concert Ukulele. All right, so we're back from looking at the inside of the ukulele. Really not much to see there. All right, now let's talk about appearance. This is a larger version of Kala's replica of the McAfee Islander, the 1950s, 1960s plastic ukuleles. They don't use the same material. They sound very different. The McAfees in all ways are much superior to the Waterman of today. But again, it is a larger version of that. So it does have kind of a cool retro look, but it still is very plain. The only ornamentation you have is a little bit of a raised sound hole. On these, I believe the colors are either all black or green. They may have changed that, but when we ordered them, those were the two choices you had. And it's a very flat black back and neck with a little bit of an arched back. So again, very plain appearance, but kind of a cool retro appearance at that too, especially with that seafoam green. In terms of availability, you can buy one of these right now from any number of Kala dealers or directly from Kala or on Amazon. Now, in terms of playability, it isn't bad at all. It's playable, but there's a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, string spacing is pretty tight, so people with larger hands won't like it. The neck does have a little bit of a profile that's not just round shape, but it is kind of still thick. It's thick and wide, and that's kind of a negative. And then it's a pretty heavy ukulele. So those three things combine to make it not such a great playing experience. It could be better, especially if it were lighter. The heaviness really takes a toll here. Now, how about the tone quality? Overall, the tone isn't that great. And it's really out of tune now because the sun is shining down on it. It's not super loud. It's kind of got a tubby, boxy sound. It does have some sustain, though, on the other end. So, again, not the greatest sounding ukulele, but that's not really what this is about. This is about an ukulele that you're supposed to be able to drag with you anywhere and play in any condition, even 90-degree heat. So, really, its purpose isn't to sound great, but I think it could definitely sound better. Now, one of the things I do in these videos is I let you see what I'm hearing by using the app Tonal Energy Tuner. So I play the C chord into the iPad and I let you see what the harmonic sequence is doing. Now, I'm having to retune because the sun is just wreaking havoc on the strings right now, but we'll get it generally in tune and then let you see what happens with Tonal Energy Tuner. So here we go. All right, so what you can see is that it does have a lot of lower end sound. It does have some sustain, and that's not to say that it's just one-dimensional. It does have some higher frequencies too, as most instruments do, but really it's a boxier, plasticky sound, and that's what it is. So you really can't be angry at it for that. All right, now that we've talked about the subjective issues with the ukulele, let's talk about the specifications. It is a concert ukulele with a 14.875-inch scale length from nut to saddle. Now, the saddle might be adjustable in here. It looks like it can come out, so that's nice. You can adjust this, whereas I do not think you can do that on the soprano Waterman, and the nut is definitely molded in there as well. There are 18 frets, 14 to the body. You do get side position markers on both sides, which is kind of nice. So if you're a lefty, you can string this backwards and you have side position markers. I'm not sure how long those will last, however. This has been played somewhat at school, and all the frets are still holding up pretty well with the paint, as are the side position markers, but that could change at any point with use. It is a traditional double bout ukulele, and the soundboard, sides and back and neck and everything else is made out of ABS. The only thing that you don't have made out of ABS are the tuning heads. I should mention that the fretboard is not radius, and the bridge is a slotted bridge. It's a small one, so that slotted bridge makes string changes very, very easy for beginners learning how to change strings for the first time on their own. Unlike some other plastic ukuleles, the saddle is not compensated. It's just a straight saddle right there. It's a flat finish, so you don't get much reflective surface on the instrument, and as you can see that I'm out here in 90-degree heat, you do get fingerprints, and if you sweat, you're going to see it on your ukulele as you play that. The instrument is 24 inches long, and it weighs 1 pound, 6.4 ounces, and it's balanced towards the body, so it's definitely body heavy. The tuners are open-geared tuners in the back. They work just fine. So let's talk about the action of the ukulele. At the first fret, it was 0.25 millimeters, which is nice and low action, making that part of it nice and easy to play. And the action at the 12th fret was 2.65 millimeters. Now again, this was purchased from the Uke Republic, so it is very possible that they adjusted the saddle before sending these to me. So beware that yours that comes from Amazon or some other place may not have been set up for you and may have much higher action. The nut width is 35.29 millimeters, which is pretty standard, 35 millimeter nut, but the spacing itself on the strings is pretty tight. At the first fret, it's only 8.09 millimeters between each string at the first fret. That's pretty narrow. Altogether, it's only 27.86 millimeters from G to A, so that's a pretty tight space, smaller than a lot of sopranos that are out there. And the last thing I like to check is the depth of the neck at the third fret. So I go from the top of the strings to the bottom of the neck. And that is 22.02 millimeters, which is really quite thick. And it's thicker than you would think. The neck itself has a really nice shape and contour, but it's just thicker than you would think. And in fact, the contour makes it seem as if it were thinner than it really is. So it's almost an optical illusion there. But that's a very, very thick neck. And I'm not sure if that's how thick it has to be just to deal with the ABS and give you the structural integrity that you need. But it is thick and it is wide, and you do feel it as you play. So you have a combination of a thick neck with a wide neck and really narrow string spacing. It's sort of an odd mix that makes the instrument less fun to play. All right, now that we've talked about the subjective issues and the specifications, let's summarize the instrument. This is, again, the Kala Waterman concert version. It came out a couple of years ago because people kept asking for a concert version of the Waterman, and they definitely did improve that. Many Waterman sopranos are unplayable due to action that's pretty much impossible to adjust. Kala fixed that with this model with an adjustable saddle, and it looks like they did good attention to the nut as well. Again, this model came from the Uke Republic, so as a result, it may have been modified a little bit before it came to me. If you're going to buy one of these, I would also encourage you to make sure that you own a string action ruler so that you can make sure that the action is well set up when you buy it. And if it's not, send it back or buy one of these from a dealer that will set it up for you. Now, ultimately, the string action for me was great. The neck is wide, the neck is thick, and the body is heavy. It has a tubby plastic sound, and quite honestly, in 2021, there are better plastic or plastic-based ukuleles if that's what you're looking for. Even though they cost a few more dollars, I would send you to, for example, the Enya Nova in place of the Kala Waterman. Now, if you buy one of these, there's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely playable. You can play it. You can have fun with it. But I don't think it's going to be as rugged and withstand the elements. Again, in 90-degree heat, it's not liking it very much, whereas some of the carbon fiber ukuleles have a little bit more tolerance to those sort of things. So if you're really looking for a rugged ukulele, check out, for example, the Enya Nova. Check out the Flight Travel ukuleles, which are also made of ABS, but they have a wooden soundboard, so maybe not water, specific, but there are Flight Travel ukuleles both in the soprano body and concert neck, the soprano long neck, as well as the concert versions now. And then, of course, you also have the outdoor ukuleles. They do not have a concert version of that, however. So if I were to give this instrument a rating based upon the issues with playability, now again, you can do worse, and based upon the sound, I would give this one 3 out of 5 ukuleles. And again, that may seem harsh, but realistically, there are better choices for a plastic ukulele. This isn't an awful choice, but there are better choices. All right, thanks so much for joining me outside in this beautiful 90-degree day here in Wisconsin. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.